welcome back to my channel. My name is Gloria. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Today I wanted to do a comparison of two different Hoyas. Both are the Hoya Carnosa, but one is the Crimson Princess versus the Crimson Queen. So kind of care for both of these and like how they differ and how they're very similar. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure you subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. And yeah, let's get started with today's video. So first off, I'll show you guys the two plants that I have. So first one I'll show you is just the closer one, which is the Hoya Carnosa Krimson Princess. So I recently bought this as an 8-inch pot, and it was a hanging plant. I bought it from Lowe's or Canadian Tire. I think it was Canadian Tire, so a big box store, and it was super affordable. But there were a lot of damaged leaves, and I noticed that there was a lot of soil, like the pot was too big for the size of the plant, so I just downsized it to a 6-inch. It looks fuller now, and just overall I think it's kind of acclimated to my environment and it's starting to grow for me. So this is the Hoya Carnosa Krimson Princess. Let's move on to the Queen before we do any comparisons. So that's how that Carnosa looks. This one is in its original 8-inch pot, but instead of having it as a hanging plant now, I've actually trellised it up, and this is how it's looking like now. So this is the Hoya Carnosa Crimson Queen. So as you can tell by this plant, it's a lot bigger, although when I bought the two plants, they were pretty much the same size. So first thing I wanted to note is that the Crimson Queen actually grows a lot faster, and it's just a more prolific grower. It has the same conditions. I put them side by side, so they're both in front of my north facing window, so they get pretty much low to medium light. It's definitely not high light. I don't get any direct sun with the north facing window. The window is fairly large and it is right up against the window, but still overall it's not very bright conditions that it's living in. But regardless, it's still growing really prolifically. As you can tell, there's vines all over the place. I've also propagated this at least like 5 times, given it to friends, sold them, whatever. I've just constantly been cutting it because it was getting way too tangled of a mess. It was becoming that, and I couldn't deal with it. So what I found as a solution was to actually trellis it up, and I think I really like this look. It looks a lot more kind of neat and put together. But yeah, I really like my Hoya Carnosa Crimson Queen. So definitely different in terms of growth speed. So the Princess actually takes a lot longer to grow in at least my conditions. Maybe if you give it more light, or if your plant was originally less damaged, it would grow faster. But so far, what I'm seeing is that because there's less kind of chlorophyll in the leaves, as you can see with the Queen, it's a lot darker green and most of the leaf is green, versus with the Princess, I would say majority of the leaf is like a creamy color, meaning it doesn't have chlorophyll and it can't photosynthesize and create energy for the plant for it to grow and shoot out new leaves. So definitely a slower grower. In terms of humidity, they both require the same humidity. I would say low humidity is fine. It would probably grow a little bit faster in higher humidity, like 60, 50, 60 and up. But just having normal room humidity in Canada, it's probably like 30-40%, and it doesn't really mind it. Leaves don't fall off, they don't crisp up, they don't brown. I would also say that the leaves are much thicker and waxier on the Princess versus the Queen. So the Queen is slightly thinner, and I find it needs a little bit more water because the leaves are thinner, so it doesn't hold as much water in the leaves, and therefore you do have to water it more often. I tend to water it maybe like a week earlier with the Queen versus the Princess. But generally I would say I water it every 3 to 4 weeks, and it doesn't really mind it. I think if you actually water it less, it can push the Hoya to bloom. Correct me if I'm wrong. I've heard that somewhere before, and honestly both of these Hoyas haven't bloomed for me. I've only recently got them this year, so I'm not expecting it to bloom anytime soon, maybe next year. But yeah, the leaves are definitely similar but different at the same time. In terms of growth pattern, I would say they're very similar as well. They do shoot out little tendrils before they grow out new leaves. I think I might actually like the princess more. What do you guys think? I think the variegation is prettier, but I like the leaf shape of the queen more. I don't know, maybe it's just this new pot that it's in. Now that it's looking so full, I think it looks just so much cooler. This also reminds me of the Hoya Australis Lisa versus my queen, which I don't even know what it reminds me of. Let's say this one's a little bit harder to find compared to the queen. So you might be paying a little bit more money for the princess, unfortunately. Another difference that I noticed is that the Hoya Crimson princess actually has like pinkish stems, so pinkish red stems. So as you can see here, the stems are not brown, but in the queen, they're kind of like a brownish green. I would say they're more brown. Yeah, so they don't look as special, so it just overall is a more kind of plain looking plant, although I still really like it. It's just, yeah, it's a prolific grower, so I think I like that part of the queen, but the princess is definitely more unique. Both of these, when they come out with new leaves, they are pretty pink, so if not even like crimson red. But yeah, over time it starts fading, so you see how these new leaves come out kind of pink, and then over time it will fade to kind of the rest of the color. So this creamy white color, it's definitely not white, it's more like an off creamy color. So that's the difference between this and the queen, because the queen is definitely more like whitish compared to cream. So as you can see with the margins, it's more like a brighter color. Also, the queen can come out with completely white leaves, as you can see right here. They don't do much for the plant because it can't photosynthesize and it has absolutely zero chlorophyll in that leaf. But if the rest of your plant is still fairly green, I wouldn't worry too much about it. I don't tend to cut them off. I know some people do. But yeah, if you have fully white leaves, you know for sure it's a Hoya Carnosa Krimson queen. So the princess will for sure have some green in each and every one of its leaves, versus the queen, which could have just fully white leaves. So yeah, I think I pretty much covered everything I wanted to talk about in terms of what I find is different for the two Carnosas. Otherwise, I think they're really similar plants and they both look really great in your home, and I personally will keep both of them in my collection until one day, if I'm actually completely out of space, I'd probably get rid of my queen before my princess. Just because, I don't know, I really like the variegation, and like I said, it reminds me of the Hoya Australis Lisa, which is probably still my #1 favorite plant. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Comment down below which one you prefer more, the Hoya Carnosa Krimson Queen or the Crimson Princess. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.